Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've got a scope review for you today. Don't worry, it's not just a review, because I know some people say like clickbait, blah blah blah. It's not. If you want to skip straight to the rat in action, I'll put the time across the bottom of the screen. And just to show you how easy this scope is to use, all the rat in action is my son, who's 13. I gave him a brief lesson on how to use the scope, the rangefinder, the focus, everything, and I went to one part of the shooting permission and I just left my son Thomas to do it all on his own. He's only 13, so I think when you see the footage you'll realise just how easy this is to use, and just how good my son is actually. There he is, the main man, doing all the killing tonight. So that's not clickbait at all. If you want to skip straight to the ratting, that's fine, no problem at all. I want you to enjoy the video. If you've got any interest in this particular scope, watch the first part of the video. You might enjoy it, you might consider it. Anyway, oh, my cheat sheets just blew away. Right, so getting into the review guys, what have I got? So I've got a oneleaf Commander NV500 Eagle model. It's their newest model. All usual sort of stuff I'll run through. So we've got all the adjustability of brightness, exposure, saturation. So you should be able to tune it to how your eye likes to see the image. So that's good. Usual sort of stuff. We've got 7 reticles, 5 different colours, and there's 6 different profiles. So if you've got 6 different rifles, you can bob it onto any of them, set up a profile, and the mounts are of good enough quality that you can swap and change the profile, and the zero will still be there. We've also got first focal plane and second focal plane, although I'd recommend, if you get the laser rangefinder model with ballistic calculator, to use it in second focal plane, because it's going to alter the crosshair for you anyway. You don't need to see a more in-depth, complicated reticle clogging up your display, do you? Right, okay, what else have we got? So we've got step increments for your zoom. You can alter that so you've got very fine increments, or you can alter it so you've got quite large increment jumps. One shot zero. Every digital scope pretty much has got one shot zero. This works particularly well. I do like this one. It's one of my favourite one shot zeros. Picture in picture. This is a very Marmite subject, especially for me. Picture in picture, it's got it, you don't have to have it on. Personally, I hate picture in picture. I think it takes so much away from what you're supposed to be looking at that it puts you off. It ruins your display. Personally, it's not for me. Weight wise on this scope, I know it looks quite big, but it only weighs 900 grams thereabouts. So that's with laser rangefinder, the scope body, the lens, and the separate IR that comes with the gun. So that is the usual sort of stuff. I will now move on to the things I like and dislike, and possibly what they could improve. Anyway guys, enjoy the rest of the video. So then guys, I'm going to start with the good stuff, because everyone likes good stuff, don't we? We don't like shite, we all like good stuff. So once again, there's a lot of good stuff. I've got 3 pages actually of good stuff that I really like about this scope, and in comparison I've got a few things that I don't like about it, but it's far more good than bad. Right, firstly, it looks great. I really do like this scope. Everybody seems to be wanting to build smaller, more streamlined scopes. I get that, it's the future, you know. People want smaller stuff. I suppose it looks good, looks better on the rifle, blah blah blah. Personally, I'm old school. I like a scope to look more like a scope. and I like them to be big enough that the controls are easy to use. When you're focusing stuff, you're not obscuring IR torches, you're not obscuring any other thing. Nice, easy to use. I'd prefer a larger scope than some little tiny scope any day of the week, I really would. So for me, this scope is pretty much perfect. I really do like the size of the scope. The controls are very intuitive. So you've got a main wheel at the top that accesses your menu, your rangefinder, your zoom. Really good, really good. As soon as you're fidgeting around in the dark, you can find it, you're not messing about. And then when you want to record a shot, it's the top button there. Just a quick click on that. So you zoom, all that sort of stuff, press record, boom, you're into it. No farting around, looking for everything, it's great. Everything's perfectly placed, easy to use. And what's good about these as well, these buttons are backlit. It's only very dim, they're not going to be shining you up. So they're nice and dim. You can also turn them off as well if you prefer not to have them lit up, but personally I like to have them lit up, so I like that function, I really do. What else? Charge indicator. Now this is very good. A lot of scopes don't have an indicator light or anything to say when they're on charge. This one, they've incorporated it into the on-off button. So the centre of that button will be green, red or amber depending on your charge level. That I really like. That's a smart feature, I do like that. As well as that, you've got a battery indicator on your display inside. So yeah, I really do like that function, that's very good. Battery life. Now, you could use this, I'd say, for 2 decent sessions, and the battery would be fine. Like when I went out with my son, probably out about 3 hours, I don't think I used half of the battery. Your battery life is very, very good. It's an inbuilt rechargeable battery, so you don't have any external battery compartments or anything like that, so it's all nice and built in. I really like that as well. The sensor that's inside it is a very good one. It's a Sony Starvis Cosmos 2 sensor. Now that is actually the same one that they put in the Zulus, so you're going to get a similar image quality to the Zulus, provided all the software and everything inside is working as well, which I believe it is. So the image quality is going to be very good, and they're using high-end components in it, so don't think they're cheaping out on some shite from China made in some gadget's basement, you know what I mean. They're using decent quality gear. Another thing, 4K, so it actually works on this scope. I had the NV500 in for test a while ago, and I like the scope, but the 4K for me, whilst it was usable, when you came to download footage onto your mobile phone or your laptop, certainly mine anyway, it wouldn't play and download properly, so I ended up using that in 2K. Now this scope, I've tested it quite a lot in 2K and 4K, and it plays perfectly fine in 4K, which I'm very happy about. It'll play on my phone and it'll play on my laptop, so I'm really chuffed about that. Right, next page. So we've got day mode, starry and night mode. Personally, I don't really like starry mode. I think the idea behind it is that you can use it without an infrared torch for that dusk till evening, till night time period where you've got a bit of moonlight and all the rest of it. You don't need to use your IR. I believe that's the take on that. Personally, I don't like it. I don't, maybe it's just my eyes, but I don't like looking at that particular mode. It messes with my head. I don't like that. Now, one of the very, very innovative things with this scope, I don't know if any other company are doing this. They've probably taken this technology from cameras, but they've got an interchangeable lens system. So you've got a quick release button on the side there, you twist the lens, it pops off, and you can put a different lens on. I was really looking forward to testing this out because some of the features of one of the lens, the smallest lens, it's got a variable aperture inside it. So as well as your focus ring, you've got an aperture ring. So that will affect close the iris in there to alter how much light comes in. So in theory, you should be able to tune this lens for any light condition. In theory, I'll get to that later on, but absolutely hats off to this company, oneleaf, for incorporating that technology into the scope. Very innovative, really innovative, and it goes to show that the company are they've got their eye on the ball with development and stuff like that, and I'm very impressed with the system. So currently for this, you've got 3 lenses. You've got this, which is a 1.5 to 19 mag. You've got this one, which is a 2 to 26 mag with no aperture. What's the word? No aperture alteration on that, with no iris inside. And then you've got a bigger lens, which is a 4 to 52. Now, personally, I think a 4 to 52 is massive overkill. If I was going to shoot something at 52 times mag, I would be wanting like a $4 glass scope, like a March Optics, or a, you know, like a bloody, what's that Australian brand? Oh shit, Night Force, something like that. I'd be wanting a real high-end scope for reaching out and shooting something at a mile. For me, 52 times mag is way too much for a digital scope, and certainly for something that's aimed at air rifles anyway. So, right, lenses. Something else I really like about this, a lot of manufacturers are going towards inbuilt infrared torches or illuminators. I get that, they're wanting a nice compact smaller package. Personally for me, I'm not a fan of that. It bulks up the scope, it drains the battery. So I'm glad that this company are staying away from that, and they're using a separate IR torch, because it gives you the option to use their own IR that's supplied, or if you've got your own favourite, you can use that. I really like that. Also, you can keep it well out of the way. So I'm mounting it there on this particular gun. You could mount it on the side of the front rail, on the top if you wanted to. Personally, I think there's perfect because it's not in the way of focus adjustment or anything like that. It's got a separate battery, so yeah, for me that's the way forward. Manufacturers should stay with that all day long. Bit of a gimmick, or a bit of fun. It's got a red dot, like an actual laser red dot built into the side here. I wouldn't use it in a hunting scenario or anything like that, but you could set it up, and if you're setting something up at 10 yards, it's got to be an exact distance. You could have a bit of a plink, you could have a bit of fun with it. That's alright. I mean, if you want to keep your kids interested in it and you don't want to look through the scope, you can set up the red dot, you can have a bit of fun with it, but it's not a serious addition, in my opinion, to this scope. It's fun, it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's not something I'd ever use. Right, the ballistic calculator. Now, This obviously, it's got an LRF, it's got a ballistic calculator built into it. If you're new to this sort of thing, the basics of that is you ping that, press that button quickly, LRF is going to fire off a laser, ping a distance, input that distance straight away into the reticle, and it's going to alter the crosshair. It'll give you a secondary aiming point so that you know where to aim to hit something at a certain distance. So that's the basics of that. What I really like about this one is how it's set up. It's a bit old school. I know I've got a Hick Micro, for instance, a cheetah. Good little scope, I like it, but the LRF on that and the ballistic calculator, firstly the LRF only goes down to 10 yards. I don't like that, it's not close enough for ratting work. Also, because of that, you can't. It doesn't alter it doesn't alter the crosshair anything below 10 yards. So that for me is shit. It's no good. Getting back to my point, actually, I've gone off and killed it a little bit here. But with that, all you get is a BC. You put in a BC number, and that's it. There's not as much detail that goes into it. There's no pellet weight or stuff like that. I think you need to put in your speed and your BC, and I don't like that. With this, you put in bullet weight, initial velocity, ballistic coefficient. You put in far more detail, and I think this system works better. So I'm very chuffed about that. Going back to the LRF, this is claimed to work from 5.5 yards out to 1300 yards. I know it works close range. I've tried it and it works very well. You can ping stuff that is close, so that's perfect for ratting. With the low base mag as well, it's awesome, it really is. 1300 yards. Haven't tested that, I don't know if it will or not, but for me, anything over kind of 400 or 500 yards is a waste of time anyway. So provided this is able to ping something a few hundred yards away accurately, that's all that I'd be bothered about. So 1300 yards, that for me is it's a bit of a pissing contest, isn't it? It's like, well, man can do 2,000 yards, man can do 4,000 yards. Who gives a shit? You're not going to shoot that far, are you? So for me, that's a waste of time. But it works, and it works fine for the distances of air rifle or rimfire shooting, whatever. If I were going to shoot something much further than this, I'd want to use a glass scope and use a handheld rangefinder anyway. So that for me, it works perfectly fine. I don't know if it goes up to 1300 yards as stated. A little bit about first focal plane and second focal plane. So first focal plane, as I'm sure you're aware, as you zoom in, the reticle grows with the magnification, which is good if you're using holdover points and stuff like that, and you haven't got a ballistic calculator. The downside to it is, because the reticle grows, it gets bigger and bigger, and it covers a large portion of your target. So for me, I would opt to use second focal plane on anything that's got a ballistic calculator, because the reticle won't grow, and the ballistic calculator is going to throw up a secondary aim point anyway. So you don't need the reticle to grow. You want a smaller reticle so you can see more of the target, and the secondary aim point's just going to come up anyway. So that's fine. Right, next thing, the mount. Very substantial, chunky mounting system. I would be very confident I could take this off, put it back on, and the zero would be exactly the same. I've used a lot of cheap mounts and a lot of quality mounts, and this for me is a good quality mount, and it will work. It'll have repeatable results. Something as well that may be of use to some people, not particularly to me, it's got a screen projection mode. it's only any good if you're setting up the rifle and you want to do it on your TV, I suppose, but you can plug in a cable and then into the back of the TV, and then you will see your display up on the screen and you can cycle through the menu. Yeah, it's alright, it's there, but I don't think it's going to be used much. But it's an option, and it goes to show that the company is innovative and forward thinking, and they're trying to do stuff that nobody else is doing. So that's a plus point for them. A little bit of a gimmick, but it's alright, might appeal to some people. They give you lots of spare O-rings and stuff with the scope. That's a plus point. I don't think any other manufacturers do that, so once again they're anticipating customer service in mind there, aren't they? They're giving you some spares if you need them. It's got a 2-year warranty. Now we're going to get onto that in the next part of this video, because it's good, but there is some minuses. Likewise with the next thing, it's either a plus or a minus depending how you look at it. So it's got a micro SD card behind this cover. There is no app or Wi-Fi, so you can't stream the footage and download it wirelessly onto a phone or anything like that. That for me is not a big minus point, because what I tend to do, I'll just take the SD card straight out, put it into a little card reader, plug it into my phone or into my laptop. The data's there straight away. You're not waiting ages and ages for it to download or upload onto your phone. You've got it straight away. Yeah, some people might prefer to use an app. I'm not one of them. So that for me is I'm on the fence. I'm not asked about it. But some people, that'll be a deal breaker for them. I get that. That's fine. But everyone's got their own opinions of what they like and what they don't like, haven't they? So, right, on to the next bit, which is going to be the bad points. So then guys, now on to the bad points. Like I said, there's not many in my opinion, but there is a few, as with any product that you're going to buy. So, bad points. Let's get into it. As I've just said, no app. That for me is not a bad point. I'm not really asked about that, but for some people that's going to be a deal breaker. So yeah, can't get away from that. Maybe it's something they will offer in the future. I don't know, but they'd have to put Wi-Fi in it and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't work for them, do I? I don't know what they're planning. Right, a bad point here, and I suppose it depends on the quality of your rifle as much as anything. So once you've zeroed the gun, if you've got a bad quality gun or a cheaper end gun and the pick rail is not lined up very well with the barrel and your 0 point is way off to the side, you cannot bring the reticle back. It won't center the reticle up. On this Vixen, that's not a problem because it's a quality gun with a very well machined Picatinny rail. The reticle is very central anyway, so like I say, it's something that I'm sure they could address with a software update. But for me, on a quality gun, it's not going to be an issue. If you've got a cheaper gun, it might be a big issue because you don't want to be shooting, looking in the bottom right of a screen to shoot something. So that's not a great selling point, but it's something that they potentially could address in the future with a software update. So we'll get on to that as well, which kind of leads me on to the next bit. There is a lack of a UK distribution for this scope, and I think that is a crying shame because it is a very good scope. I do like the scope a lot, I really do. It's probably one of my favourite scopes now. But bear in mind, if you buy it it's got to come from China, so it's going to take a while to turn up. If there's any faults with it, you'd have to pay out your own money, I dare say, to send it back to China to get it warranty fixed. You're going to be waiting a long time for it to come back. You might be without your scope for a month, who knows, and it might cost you a pretty penny to get it fixed in postage, so that's not great. Also, you could get hit with import duty with UK customs when it comes in. Once again, if they had a UK distributor, that wouldn't be a problem. So yeah, that's not great either. What else have we got? Now the price. If you wanted to go for this model with 2 lenses, because they are optional, you don't have to get two or three lenses, you can just pick one lens and get one lens. If you wanted this model with 2 lenses, LRF, and everything that you're going to see in the box, it equates to 677 quid at the minute. So it's getting up there. It's pricey, it is. But however, I would suggest the only lens you need is the 2-26. So if you only got that, then it comes in at 558 quid. I'll put bits. I'll put screenshots on the page as well, because obviously exchange rates and stuff change. But I think there is a discount code as well. If anyone is interested, just email me and I'll see if I can get a discount for you. And that is the only bad point. Anyway, so now I'll put the rat in action on for what my son's done. Make a video so you can enjoy me not being on screen talking shit for a while, and I'll catch up with you at the end of the video for a summary of what I think of this scope. Right, cheers guys.
I don't think you're that good a shot.
Are you kidding?
That's pretty good shooting.
Bastard! Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that's a baby fish shot.
him in the eye.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Right then guys, hope you enjoyed the rat in action. I'm going to do a summary now. After my summary I'm going to put some test footage of the different modes, 2K and 4K, so you can see the difference. So my summary now, okay, I'll be honest with you, I really like the scope, I do. I think they're a good company. It's a good product. I really do like it. I mean, I've got some other high-end scopes, and to be honest with you, I do prefer this, especially on this gun. It's a fantastic combination. Very good bit of kit. I think they've listened to the customers as this company, because their NV500, the previous model, it was alright, but it was flawed. It didn't play 4K on my computer, like I said. The image quality on the display that you look at, it wasn't great. They have much improved it. This is far better. I do like this a lot. The center reticle, that's going to be a big problem for a lot of people. I think that it would be a relatively easy software fix for them, and I have been in contact with the company oneleaf about what I dislike about this and how they can make improvements. So fingers crossed they might come up with a software update for it. Once again, I've told them that I think their biggest issue is the lack of a UK distributor. I genuinely, I'm not pissing up your back here, I genuinely think if they got a UK distribution set up for this could be a very competitive scope with the other high-end brands. I really do like this a lot. It's a great scope, and it's a crying shame that it would be a pain in the arse for people to get in the UK and feel confident enough that if there is any issues that they can send it back worry and hassle free. That is the biggest problem. I think if they squared that away, they'd do well in the UK, I really do. Like I said, the SD card used for data transfer, that's not a problem. I like that. It's going to be a problem for some people. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, if you were going to buy this, I'd definitely only go for the 2-26 lens. It seems to be the most user friendly. It gives a really nice image. I think the idea of the variable aperture on the smaller lens is a great idea, but I just don't think it works as well as I hoped it would do. And last but not least, I suppose, is the company itself. oneleaf, obviously a Chinese company, but they seem like a really good company. As when I reviewed their NV500, they were very good with me about where they didn't demand a load of shit for me to do a review in exchange for a scope. They didn't say you've got to do an unboxing, you've got to do 2 videos with this, you've got to do a night vision video. None of that shit. They just said do a good honest review. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, say you don't like it, but suggest where we can make improvements. Now that, for me, in this day and age, is a rarity. Nobody who's going to give somebody a scope of high value and give them free rein to say what they want about it. So for me, that says they're a good honest company. They've got customers in mind. and because they've asked for feedback, they're wanting real world experience from people that are using it. So if they're doing that, they want to make improvements, they want to see what's good, what's bad, so they're definitely trying to move in the right direction. So for me, it's a great company. I love the product. So yeah, that's it. I mean, you'll see the footage now. I'll put up the target footage with different lenses and different resolution modes and stuff like that. So if you want, continue watching the video, see that, make your own mind up after that. Anyway guys, I know it's been a long video. I appreciate you sticking to the end if you have done, and yeah, just give us a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, if you like what I'm doing. That's great. Right, okay guys, thank you very much. See you later. So then guys, first lens test is 4K 30 frames per second, and it's the 1.5 to 19mm mag. So I'll put an advent calendar there because it's got lots of colours on it, and you can see what the image is like with different colours. So I'll take a few shots at this. So guys, same lens, but on 2K 30 frames per second this time. Once again, advent calendar there just so you can see the colours. I'll take a few shots on this. I'll tell you what, this Vixen's a bloody tool and a half, innit? So then guys, onto the larger lens now. Instantly I can see a difference. This looks like it's a nicer lens to look at through the viewfinder. Image is crisper, colours are nicer. Interestingly as well, with the smaller lens I had to mess about with the exposure levels a lot. This not so much. Easier to use. I'll take a few shots on this. Oh shit, I think I've double loaded, hang on. This first one's going to be crap. So now we're on 2K 30 frames per second with the 2 to 26 lens. So I'm not noticing much difference at all looking through the viewfinder. Maybe a little bit. I'll take a few shots on this. Okay, so just looking at various things around my house now. This is still with a 1.5 to 19 mag lens. See if I can ping that. Am I pinging it? I ain't got that range marker aligned. So that's 56 yards thereabouts. That's pretty good. Quite clear. Try another chimney or something. Let's ping that. So 70 yards. Zoom in. Alright, innit? Going to max mag. That's 19 times. Still quite clear. I'll try some aperture adjustment. I'll go back out. Go for them trees, bit of greenery. We've got a distance, 92 yards. I'll go maximum. Okay, so same again, 4K 30 frames per second. So I'll zoom right in, see if you can spot any difference. Won't say there's much difference with a tree. Let's go for that chimney. Oh, look, pigeon. I think there's quite detailed colours on that. So it's hard to tell much difference looking through this viewfinder lens. It might look a mile apart on the computer screen. Okay guys, so we've now moved over to the 2 to 26 lens, I think it is. Done no difference on the settings, just changed the lens. Hard to tell if there's much difference so far. I think it maybe looks a bit brighter, the image, looking through this viewfinder. So obviously now we're up to 26 times mag. Right, I'll try that tree if I can find it. I think the greens look a bit nicer on that tree. Okay, I'll come back out. Okay guys, same lens, 2 to 26 lens on 2K 30 frames per second this time, so everything's the same as before settings wise. So zoom in. Looking through the viewfinder, it is genuinely difficult to tell What's better, the 2K or the 4K? Like I say, it might look different on the computer screen. Okay.
Eddie! Good night, ladies. Good night, sir. Hit it, sweetheart.